The Ravens' latest outing was one of those games that leaves you scratching your head, wondering how things went so drastically off the rails from start to finish. The offense looked completely disjointed, and you could feel the frustration bubbling up, especially from Lamar Jackson. It's rare to see him in a situation where the plays just aren't coming together, where his normally precise reads and quick decisions turn into hesitation and forced throws. Every mistake was magnified, from interceptions to fumbles, and it all snowballed into a game that was tough to watch. You could point fingers in every direction, and truthfully, multiple factors contributed. But Lamar Jackson's struggles were undeniable. He wasn't accurate. He wasn't finding the right spots on the field. And even when he tried to make something happen with his legs, the results were inconsistent. There were glimpses of the Lamar we know and love, a perfectly timed scramble here, a tight throw that found Isaiah Likely, but they were overshadowed by errors and missed opportunities. The turnovers were especially painful, each one erasing a chance to swing momentum back in the Ravens' favor, and by the end of the night, it felt like the team was gasping for any spark that could put them back in control. When you look at the game overall, the numbers tell a brutal story. The Ravens were 3 of 10 on third down, completely outclassed in time of possession, with the Bengals holding the ball for nearly 40 minutes, compared to just 21 for Baltimore. It wasn't just about execution on the field. It was about sustaining drives and taking advantage of the opportunities presented. You could see that the Ravens had moments where the run game worked. Derrick Henry and Catton Mitchell were finding gaps, making chunk plays, but the overall strategy seemed to collapse. When it was needed most, Derrick Henry had 10 carries for 60 yards, including a long 28-yard run. But then the ball seemed to disappear from his hands for stretches where you thought he could drive the offense forward. Catton Mitchell was getting only a couple of carries, despite showing explosive potential on the few he did get. The inconsistency in play calling and utilization left fans and analysts alike questioning the plan, even when certain plays worked. The coaching staff didn't seem to adjust or capitalize on the rhythm. You could almost see the offense getting frustrated with itself, like they knew what needed to be done, but couldn't find the continuity to make it happen. And it's not like this is the first time this season the Ravens have struggled to sustain offensive momentum. For the past 3 weeks, the offense has looked lost at crucial moments, unable to string together enough successful plays to dominate games the way fans expect. The frustration from Lamar Jackson was visible, and it's understandable. He's not just a quarterback. He's the engine that drives this offense. When he's off his game, the rest of the team feels it. And while the offensive line deserves some blame for protection issues, and while play calling can be questioned, the quarterback's struggles were front and center. He finished the game 17 of 32 for 246 yards with no touchdowns, 1 interception, and 2 fumbles in the Lamar Jackson era. It's almost unheard of to have 3 consecutive games without a touchdown pass. And yet here we are. Some throws sailed high, some reads were mistimed, and the timing between him and his receivers seemed off. The lack of rhythm compounded each error, creating a feedback loop where frustration and mistakes fed into each other. Yet, even in a game like this, it's important to remember the career Lamar Jackson has had. Pro Bowls, MVPs, and incredible performances aren't erased because of one or even a few rough outings. The standard he's set is sky high, which makes it even more glaring when he falters. But it's also what makes his brilliance so remarkable when he's firing on all cylinders. The contrast between this kind of game and a peak performance shows just how influential he is. When everything clicks, looking at the coaching side, accountability becomes a major talking point. John Harbaugh and Todd Monken are both under scrutiny for the way the game was managed. Harbaugh taking responsibility was a notable shift, a reminder that even seasoned coaches recognize when the message isn't resonating or when adjustments aren't being made effectively. The offensive approach left many confused, particularly with the usage of key running backs and play selection on critical downs. Shannon Sharpe highlighted some of these decisions, pointing out moments where the game plan didn't make sense, or where plays seemed misaligned with the defensive coverage. 0 blitzes from Cincinnati, mismatched routes, and sequences that didn't exploit weaknesses all contributed to a sense of disorganization on the field. The Ravens had moments of opportunity, but the failure to capitalize, paired with turnovers, left the game slipping out of reach. Accountability isn't just about pointing fingers. It's about recognizing breakdowns and understanding how leadership at the top can influence the performance on the field, beyond the X's and O's. The psychological component is significant. winning cures everything, as the saying goes. And when the Ravens have been successful in the past, it masks flaws and soothes frustrations. But when a game like this unfolds, the tension is palpable, both for players and fans. Lamar's visible irritation, the offense's inconsistency, and the inability to sustain momentum all create a narrative that's hard to ignore. In contrast, when they've won games against less challenging opponents, those underlying issues were easier to overlook. Now, facing an elite defense, the cracks are exposed, and the team is forced to confront them. It's not just about one player or one coach, it's about the cohesion of the entire team, the execution of the game plan, and the adaptability to in-game challenges. The Bengals' defense, which statistically had struggled in certain areas during the season, came out and dominated, forcing 5 turnovers and controlling the flow of the game. It was a stark reminder that no matter the talent on the roster, preparation and execution are non-negotiable at this level. This game also serves as a microcosm of the season's broader trends. The Ravens have had spurts of dominance, but sustaining that level of performance has been elusive. Offense that starts strong and fizzles, or defense that plays well but can't cover for turnovers, all feed into an uneven narrative. Fans and analysts alike see the talent on the roster, the ability to make explosive plays, the presence of a dynamic quarterback, and a historically strong coaching staff, but the translation of that potential into consistent results remains a challenge. The scrutiny is inevitable, and the conversation naturally turns to solutions, adjustments, and reflections on what needs to change. While Lamar Jackson's career brilliance remains undeniable, this stretch exposes vulnerabilities that need addressing, both in player execution and coaching strategy. Even with all the frustration, there's a sense of resilience in the organization. The Ravens have shown over the years they can bounce back from setbacks, and acknowledging mistakes is part of that process. Harbaugh taking accountability, Shannon Sharpe's analysis of the game plan, and a candid look at Lamar Jackson's struggles all contribute to a realistic evaluation. Recognizing where breakdowns occurred allows the team to take steps toward improvement. Especially as the season progresses and playoff implications loom, it's a moment to reassess, recalibrate, and prepare for the challenges ahead. While the Thanksgiving night loss to Cincinnati was disappointing and exposed weaknesses, it also sets the stage for growth and adjustments that could define the rest of the season. Looking ahead, the Ravens are at a crossroads. 3 consecutive weeks of offensive struggles can't just be brushed aside, especially with Lamar Jackson not operating at his usual level. You can see the frustration building, not just in the quarterback but across the team. The receivers, running backs, and offensive line all felt the ripple effects of missed opportunities and inconsistent play calling. Even the defense, which has had moments of strong performance, can only compensate so much. Giving up 5 turnovers and facing a relentless Bengals attack put the unit in a nearly impossible position. And while they did what they could to keep the team in the game at key moments, the offense's inability to capitalize ultimately dictated the outcome. It's a reminder that football is the ultimate team sport. Individual talent can shine, but if execution across the board falters, the scoreboard reflects that failure. No matter the historical achievements or accolades of any one player, part of the challenge is that the Ravens are facing injuries and an offensive line that has struggled to consistently protect Jackson. When a quarterback of his caliber doesn't feel confident in the pocket, hesitation seeps into every decision. Throws that would normally be precise end up sailing over the receiver's head. Reads take longer than they should, and the ability to create plays on the fly diminishes. That lack of trust creates pressure on every other part of the offense. Running backs hesitate, receivers adjust their routes instinctively, and the rhythm that defines a successful Ravens offense begins to crumble. Watching Jackson try to navigate the chaos on Thursday night was both a lesson in resilience and a reminder that even elite athletes have limits. He attempted to make plays, scrambling when necessary, trying to salvage drives. But the combination of defensive pressure, misreads, and poor ball security compounded the mistakes and left the team unable to close gaps or maintain momentum. Coaching decisions also deserve close scrutiny. Todd Monken's offensive strategy seemed erratic at times, abandoning the run when it was actually working and failing to adapt to defensive shifts. Derrick Henry had significant production when given opportunities, yet the usage patterns didn't make sense given the flow of the game. Catton Mitchell showed flashes of explosiveness, but was underutilized, leaving fans questioning why the team didn't adjust to maximize offensive output. Shannon Sharpe's analysis pointed to misaligned route concepts, zero blitz coverage, and sequences that seemed counterintuitive. The combination of inconsistent play calling and poor execution left the Ravens unable to exploit the weaknesses of a Bengals defense that, by statistical measures, should have been more vulnerable. It was a game that exposed cracks in both preparation and adaptability. And it's clear that adjustments are necessary if this team hopes to contend in the later stages of the season. Yet, amid the frustration, it's essential to maintain perspective on Lamar Jackson. The quarterback's career achievements, from MVP awards to Pro Bowl selections, remain unchallenged. This stretch of poor performance doesn't erase his talent or his ability to carry a team. What it does highlight are the challenges of maintaining elite performance while navigating injuries, inconsistent offensive protection, and evolving defensive schemes. Jackson's visible frustration is understandable. He knows what he is capable of. And when the game slips out of reach due to factors both in and out of his control, the emotional toll becomes apparent. Fans may focus on turnovers and missed opportunities, but a comprehensive evaluation recognizes the multitude of circumstances impacting performance. Jackson's resilience, leadership, and capacity to bounce back from adversity will define the team's trajectory as much as any single game result. Time of possession and situational execution were particularly glaring. The Bengals held the ball for nearly 40 minutes, controlling both the tempo and flow of the game, while the Ravens had limited opportunities to sustain drives. Each turnover handed Cincinnati more control, making it increasingly difficult to mount any serious comeback. The opening drive showed promise, with the Ravens moving effectively and creating scoring opportunities, but that initial momentum evaporated. It's a pattern that has emerged across multiple games, brief flashes of offensive rhythm that failed to extend into full drives or critical scoring opportunities. Even when plays worked, adjustments weren't consistent, and the team failed to exploit mismatches or defensive vulnerabilities effectively. That disconnect between potential and execution underscores the importance of cohesion, preparation, and adaptability in professional football. The mental component of the game is undeniable. Winning can mask flaws, but losing exposes them in sharp relief. When the Ravens have succeeded against weaker or average opponents, underlying issues were less visible, and Jackson's leadership carried the team through minor lapses. But against a strong opponent like Cincinnati, the weaknesses became starkly apparent. Errors that might have been recoverable against lesser defenses compounded into a cascade of setbacks. Every misread, every miscommunication, every missed throw contributed to a growing sense of chaos that players could not overcome. This is where leadership, both on and off the field, becomes critical. Harbaugh taking responsibility was a notable step, but accountability must extend throughout the team. From position coaches to coordinators to players themselves. Without clear communication, trust in execution, and decisive in-game adjustments, even talented teams struggle to compete at a high level. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers have been circling around the Ravens locker room after an explosive comment reportedly made by head coach John Harbaugh. Sources close to the team claim that during a heated team meeting, Harbaugh allegedly said of one player, "He's not playing with me anymore." The remark, brief yet incendiary, has sparked a frenzy among fans and insiders alike, leaving the sports world buzzing with speculation. While the specifics of the incident remain shrouded in mystery, the implications are impossible to ignore for a coach of Harbaugh's stature. Known for his disciplined yet passionate approach, such a statement could signal a serious fracture in team dynamics. Analysts are already dissecting potential targets. Could it be a star on offense, a defensive cornerstone, or perhaps someone whose contract situation has been quietly tense? The lack of clarity only fuels the rumor mill further. As insiders and social media pundits scramble to connect the dots, the player in question has not publicly responded, adding another layer of intrigue. Some teammates are reportedly frustrated, hinting at locker room tensions that may have been simmering for weeks. Others suggest this might be a tactical move by Harbaugh, aimed at sending a message to the squad rather than signaling an immediate roster shakeup. Either way, the comment has ignited a firestorm, with fans speculating wildly on forums and chat rooms about who might be on the outs. Ravens management has remained tight-lipped, refusing to confirm or deny the remark, which only amplifies the mystery. betting circles and sports talk shows are already dissecting every angle, debating whether this could lead to a trade, benching, or perhaps even a dramatic mid-season exit. Meanwhile, the media is relentless, combing through past performances, interviews, and social media activity for clues. In a league where the smallest spark can ignite a massive story, Harbaugh's words are now dominating headlines, whatever the truth behind the "not playing with me" anymore comment. One thing is certain, the Ravens locker room and perhaps the entire season may not be the same. Fans and critics alike are left on edge, waiting to see if this rumor transforms into reality, or if it fades as a moment of frustration from a fiery coach. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.